Hi everyone, this is Stephanie from the Yale Alumni Association. Very excited to be back with you for another Yale Alumni Live. Today we're actually going to be talking to two Yale alums who are part of an 11-person creative team that has come together during this quarantine period to create some absolutely fantastic art and music for you. So we're going to get into their story in just a moment, but I just want to remind everybody that Yale Alumni Live is a show that we do here on Instagram and also on Facebook to highlight the amazing Yaleys in our community and their personal stories. So if you know anybody who you think would be great for Yale Alumni Live, please feel free to send us a message. We enjoy highlighting different alums every week. So, and I'm going to bring Jeremy on the screen in just a moment, and also his friend and colleague, Calista. Hi, Jeremy. You made it. You made it.
Hi. I made it. I'm here. I'm here. We'll
I'm
see if
so
Calista
excited.
makes it.
Well, Calista, we just did a little practice run.
I'm so excited too.
So this is a very casual environment, Jeremy. I remind everybody that every time. Like, we are all friends on Instagram, right? Whether we know each other or not. So we are excited to have you and to have Calista joining us. I'm gonna bring her on. I'm sending her in right now. So hopefully she makes it without any trouble. And I see we have a few folks watching, so hopefully she will make it in, and then we'll be a three-way split screen, which is pretty exciting because Instagram did not do that up until a couple weeks ago. So hopefully we will get her on here in just a second. I think.
Hi, Michael Pertasio.
I know Michael Pertasio too. He's one of my faves.
You do?
Okay. Oh, yeah. Love him. He's in the arts too. So we're bound to get him on here eventually. So we're just waiting for Calista to join us. Hopefully she will be able to pop up in just a second. I'm going to try her again. I love social media. It's always a learning curve. So for those So for anybody who's just joining us and watching, this is Yale Alumni Live, and I am Stephanie. I am very excited to be here today with two members of the creative team behind The Wandering, which we're going to talk a little bit about today. And then we're also going to be on Facebook Live tomorrow evening, getting like a sneak peek behind the scenes, deeper dive into what exactly The Wandering is and what this amazing team of Yaleys has done to put this experience together for all of you. And they're going to tell us a little bit about that today, but come back tomorrow on the Yale Alumni Facebook group, which is the private group on Facebook, and we're going to be talking about that a little bit more in depth and be joined by a number of their other crew members, which we're very excited about. I don't know if crew is the appropriate word, so I apologize. It might be team, creative minds. We're very excited to have them. So it looks like Calista's having a little bit of trouble, so we're going to give her another moment to try and log in here. But those of you who are watching, thank you for being here. This is Jeremy Weiss. Now, Jeremy, you're class of 2014 or 2015? I'm confusing you guys.
I'm 2015 and Calista is 2014.
All right, I did get it right. Okay. So we have our bold alumni here today. We're very excited to have both of them with us. We're just having a little trouble getting Calista, connected. So I'm going to give her another second. And then, Jeremy, you and I can get started talking while we're waiting for her to join us.
We can just start chatting while we wait for Calista to join. That's totally fine.
So, all right. So she's still having trouble. So, Jeremy, why don't we get started for those folks that are watching right now, and tell us just a little bit about you personally, about a little bit of your Yale story. We love to share the Yale story because everybody has such a different journey to arrive at Yale and while they're at Yale. So tell us a little bit about where you grew up and why you chose Yale.
Oh, nice. Haven't thought about that in a long time. Haha. I grew up in Charlottesville, Virginia, and I chose Yale because I always dreamed of going to a school where I could grow kind of intellectually in the liberal arts environment as a human while also pursuing the arts at a really high level. So I was thinking about Yale between conservatory programs and Yale. Calista's here!
There she is. She
made it. Can you see me yet?
Yes, you're just buffering. There you go. We got you.
Goodness. Oh.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Hello.
Okay.
So, Jeremy, yes, I'm excited to hear.
You're so excited to hear.
We're glad you know.
Thank you.
All right, so we're gonna continue with Jeremy's Yale story, and then I'm gonna throw it over to you, Calista. So, Jeremy, for those of you who've just joined us, Jeremy and Calista are part of a creative team who've put together something called The Wandering. They're gonna tell us more about that in just a minute, but right now we're just getting their Yale story. So, Jeremy, back over to you.
So what's great about The Wandering also is that it involves a team of 11 Yale alums, which is super crazy and cool. So just want to like throw that out there from the beginning that, oh, thanks so much. Whoever, is that Phil Wilkinson? Hi. Hello, Phil. Yay. So it's a team of 11 Yaleys, and we made this thing. We like trying to keep theater alive during the pandemic. We brought together this team of 11 people. There were 10 other people that were part of our experiences at Yale to make a piece of art. So that's kind of what this is. And Calista and I are here representing that team today as the two co-creative directors of that project. And so you were just asking about my Yale story. I was choosing between Yale and conservatories with like classical music and also theater. And then I went to Yale and did both, and also double majored in theater studies and humanities, and got a certificate in energy studies too, and did some work with like climate change communications and stuff like that. So yeah, Yale's the best.
The value of a liberal arts degree, right?
It is.
That's
yes,
what it is.
Yes. So, and then you can get a certificate in energy studies and then go on and be a professional opera singer, right? Like that's
Jeremy, you didn't say this, but this is one of my favorite moments is when everybody says their residential college, because it's always followed by the best. So here's your moment. Which residential college were you in?
I was in Styles, and I really do think it was the best. So I guess I'm stereotyping.
Okay, it's okay. I mean, you guys have pride, and that's important. So, Calista, tell us, a little bit about your Yale journey. Tell us, maybe where you grew up and why you chose Yale and what your Yale experience was like.
Absolutely. So I grew up in several places around the country. My family moved around a lot. So I was born in Chicago, was a teenager in Los Angeles, also lived in Minnesota for a while. And then I went to boarding school before applying, and I wanted to go to Yale because of the incredible theater community at Yale, and also the incredible theater that is just made in New Haven. It's like it's stunning, and I learned so much there as a student. And when I got in, I don't think I had no doubt in my mind. I was like, well, this is obviously where I should be. So it wasn't much of like a journey. It was like, well, great. Good, let's make this happen. Yeah.
So Calista, and now I know that we've had some private conversations obviously before today. Tell everyone a little bit about what you participated in at Yale, because I think that's what kind of wove your group together is the different activities that you all participated in. So I'll start with Calista and then over to Jeremy for your activities. Tell us just a little bit about what you did while you were on campus.
Yes. Okay. Great question. I was involved in so much theater on campus. So I was part of this really phenomenal experimental theater group called the Control Group. And we made some of the most wild performance art pieces and pieces of theater and immersive shows that that I've ever like been a part of. And it was so much fun. And a lot of the members of the team of this project actually were also Control Group alums, and we're excited about this project because we like being interested in experimenting, obviously saw an opportunity to do that here. And then I was part of a sketch comedy group. I was in Red Hat Poker, which is amazing. And then we also founded an ensemble that I don't think exists anymore called Common Room that Jeremy was also in, that actually was part of developed new plays with students. So yes, so I really did a lot. I studied a lot of contemporary art making and contemporary theater, and I made a lot of contemporary work when I was a student. And there were so many opportunities at Yale to do that.
Incredible. So Jeremy, obviously Calista just told us something that you did together, but I think I saw in the comments that you were in a singing group. Is that correct?
Yeah, I was in the Spizwinks, and actually what's awesome is that two of the other people on this team were also in the Spizwinks, which is really exciting. So very early on in this process, I brought on Max, who was in the Spizwinks with me and one of my really close friends in undergrad, and he has been helping produce the show the whole time. He's amazing. And then Max brought on another Spizwink, Tan Wang, who's been doing our web development and web design, who's also been amazing. I didn't know him that well because he was actually at Yale after me in the Spizwinks after I was there. and he's an incredible human being. And kind of what's beautiful about this piece also is I've gotten to know better a lot of Yaleys that I sort of knew while I was there. And they become really close friends throughout this. Like Max has become one of my best friends this year. We've been meeting every single week over Zoom, and same with Tan to develop this piece. So I think really the Yale community exists beyond, which is really exciting.
It does. So just to set the room, since I used to be able to have a graphic behind me that had your names and tell everybody what we were doing, but Instagram changes on a weekly basis to keep me on my toes and everybody else. So really quick, we are here with Jeremy and Calista, who are the creative directors of a project called The Wandering. And we're talking to them today just to get a little baseline knowledge about the group and what they've been doing. And then tomorrow evening on Facebook, we're going to have a deeper dive into the actual production itself and meet some more of the members of the team. So I have one more question for you guys, and then I want to talk about the team itself and a little bit more about defining The Wandering for anybody who was watching. So, obviously this has been a very challenging year for everybody. This week kind of marks the 1-year anniversary, if you will, of stay-at-home orders. Those of us at the YAA were sent home this week last year, so it's been a year of working at home. And one of the things that we've heard over and over is, how is it possible to create and innovate? And we've seen some really amazing things come out of the Yale School of Music, finding ways to let musicians perform together while in different spaces, which is obviously very challenging. So, I want to talk to you guys a little bit about creativity in COVID and how you all came together very creatively, if I might say that myself, and kind of how you framed this thinking to get to The Wandering. So just some thoughts on creativity during this period where we've been very much isolated and away from our day-to-day. Any thoughts on that, Jeremy? I'll start with you. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm happy to kick us off. I mean, I would say, I'll start with one thing, is that this show is really a product of friendship, which is really nice. So I think this piece was developed because of the support that our friends have for each other. I called up Calista last May when I was feeling totally lost. My whole profession had disappeared for, we'll see how long. I think hopefully operas will be performed again soon. And I called Calista and I was like, I want to make something. I want to perform. And Calista was like, yes, we need to make something now.
Yeah.
And we just started to build, I think, within the constraints of the pandemic, I guess, if that makes sense. And I think it's useful to think of creativity. Creativity is born from constraint. It's something that a lot of artists use. Is if you develop constraints for your work, then it's easier to create something. So in a sense, the constraints of the pandemic that we couldn't perform in person anymore allowed us to innovate. And develop this totally multidisciplinary team to make something new. And it was really exciting to kind of allow these constraints to be opportunities rather than obstacles.
Amazing. I love that.
Yeah.
Calista, do you want to add to Jeremy's comments about creativity during this time?
Yeah. Well, I agree, and I kind of live by that rule as an artist, that you want to establish your constraints, your aesthetic constraints, your thematic constraints, your physical constraints before you try creating something. Because if you don't have any constraints, you're like, well, let's just make a show about Schubert. Okay, great. What do you do? What do you do next? And so COVID gave us those constraints. We knew that we wanted to create a show that connected people together, but we knew we didn't want to use Zoom or live streaming. So we developed the idea to make this visual album, which is something that I don't think Jeremy or I had ever done before. And it really pushed us to develop new skills and reach out to different artists that we don't typically work with to make that happen. Similarly, we wanted to make this show something that was more akin to live performance and that it was ephemeral. So we researched net art and looked at net artists and looked at how they create work online that has more of a quality of ephemerality and really focus used to be present. So we did that many times over. And also, I don't know, to be really creative and innovate, you also have to have the opportunity to take risks. And a lot of artists typically working don't have that opportunity because there's so much pressure on you to like be employed and to make sure that you make a living. And so you're making work in order to pay yourself. But because of our partnerships and because of honestly the time that we had in the pandemic, we could take risks and we weren't scared of totally failing because we had the opportunity and the time to do it. And we also had this period in both of our careers where we weren't feeling a lot of pressure. We weren't feeling a lot of outside attention. We just wanted to make our own thing, honestly, to keep us going and also hopefully to inspire other people. So I think all of that is very important.
It's actually is a really, it's perfectly summed up and a really wonderful byproduct of a really challenging time. So tell us, so we haven't really defined the wandering yet for folks watching. So I don't know which one of you would like to take that question. I don't want to force one of you over the other. So how would you like to summarize the wandering and then tell us just a little bit about your process? And now you guys started planning this in May. Is that what you said, Jeremy? You started in May. So
we started end of last May. Yep.
All right. So here's the roulette. Which one of you would like to define the wandering?
You do it, Calista. You do it.
I'm going to try. Okay, so the wandering is well, we've defined it many times in writing. So I've written about it many times. So what I like to say when I write about it is that it's an online and offline show inspired by the work of Franz Schubert. And what that means is that we have a visual album. We also have an immersive at-home experience, and it's all connected together through themes relating to wonder and queerness.
Okay.
How was that? Was that
good? I'm going to piggyback, and I'm going to say what that manifests as is a package that arrives on your front door with a password to an interactive web experience that houses a narrative film. And it's a fully interactive experience with theater that imitates in certain ways the way that a live show might feel. In the way that you are engaged with the present and build community with others as you experience a piece. That was a good team effort, Calista.
Yeah, it was a good team
effort.
Well
done. You're exemplifying what you've already done to put this together, right? So tell us a little bit about the team and how, and I know you referenced, Spizwinks and a few people came to you that way. Tell us a little bit about the rest of the team and how they all came to be a part of this effort.
Yeah, so it started with me and Calista. We were kind of like the top of the tree, I guess, and then the branches kind of branched out from there, right? So I had my Spizwink connections, Max and Tantan, and then
the album.
Calista contacted some people that both of us had worked with in undergrad. So Calista, I don't know if you want to, I don't know.
Yes, of course. So
I
reached out to a very good friend of mine named Christine Shaw, who's a Yale alum, who is a devised theater maker in Philadelphia, because I knew that she had experience creating new work from scratch. So you don't start with a script, but you have some material that you want to kind of mine for a story. She knows how to do that. So we got in touch with her. And then when we realized that we wanted to make a visual album, I got in touch with a really incredible filmmaker, Zach Bell, who that's what he does professionally. He's a director and he's worked a lot with musicians. We got him on the team. And when we knew that we wanted to send people beautiful art in the mail, I got in touch with an incredible interdisciplinary artist. Her background's in industrial design, and she also has expertise in many other areas, Charlotte McCurdy. So we brought her on the team, and then we made the show. We made it, and in the meanwhile, Jeremy assembled the team to make the album. But before I pivot to Jeremy, I also want to say we brought on our film director, Lara Pamazzotti, also after we had the script together to like literally make the visual album happen. And there are more people too. We have to mention.
Which other Yaleys are on? So it's Daniel Rigberg, who's also in the Spizwinks with me, is our back-end web developer. And then we also have Julian Manresa, who is our translator. He's actually a current student.
Awesome.
And he did an incredible job, like a truly monumental job with these translations. I think they're amazing, and so excited to share his work with everybody. Who else was from Yale?
Sahil.
Oh my God, and Sahil. Max connected us with Sahil, who was a childhood friend of Max's, who also went to Yale, and Sahil designed all of the augmented reality experiences that are part of the show.
Yeah.
Awesome. And with his team, Space.io. So that's their website. Their company's called Space. So that's the Yale team. That's the Yale team. There it is. So
and we're going to have a number of members of the Yale team with us live tomorrow on Facebook to go a little bit more in depth with their specific projects and what they've been doing. And now let me ask you guys, so you guys have a very special partnership with the Schwartzman Center. So would you want to just quickly tell everybody what you've made available through the Schwartzman Center?
Yeah, so they're brand new, and what was interesting is we actually connected with them last June during a time of uncertainty for everybody, right? So I think for them, they were planning on having their inaugural season during this year, and they were seeing also, like I was seeing with my career, they were seeing everything change, right? And realized they couldn't have the live events that they had previously planned. So we started talking with them then, and they were really intrigued by the process. They've been a part of this process for a long time. Jennifer and Garth at the Schwartzman Center are phenomenal. We love them, and they've just been great parts of our collaborative team, actually. And we've been sending them scripts and songs and ideas kind of throughout. And they've been talking with us, and eventually we decided on a partnership that would involve us doing the workshop of the piece with Yale students. And the workshop will take place on March 22nd with Yale students, and it actually includes Yale students, not just Yale undergrads, but also some grad students from different schools as well, which is really exciting. They'll be actually the first people before members of the team to experience The Wandering, which is really exciting, and they'll be giving us feedback on how the piece works for them. I'm actually preparing to send their packages out in the mail this afternoon, which is really exciting.
That must be a huge moment for you guys after all these months of work being ready to release this out into the world. So we're coming up on our time, but I want to give you guys the opportunity to tell everybody how they can experience The Wandering.
Yes.
Yes.
You go.
Yes, you can. The answer is yes. Everyone can experience The Wandering.
Show. And you can experience it on your own time. So you go to experiencethewandering.com and you can buy a ticket. And if you buy a ticket now, you would get your materials in the mail around April 15th. If you buy a virtual show, we email you a password around April 15th. But our show is going to run from April 15th through May 15th, so you can also buy a ticket during that window. And it's really, it's really, really a fascinating work. I think you will find it extremely intriguing. And also, if you don't know anything about classical music, you'll learn a lot about classical music and hopefully come to love it. And I hope that you come.
Yay! Experiencethewandering.com.
We're very excited. I was very intrigued by this project, not only because of all of the parts at play, but the fact that it is a 11-member team, all from Yale College, all from different years that came together in a really crazy time and are producing something incredible and insanely creative. So we're very excited to be able to highlight that, to share what our Bulldogs of the last decade have been, cohort has been doing together as part of the Yale community. So Jeremy and Calista, very excited to have had you on your first Instagram Live today. I've had a couple of newbies lately, which is very exciting. I saw, I just have to throw this out there. I saw a couple of our Yale Alumni Live alums come through on the show. So great to see those names. All of these are recorded and available for you to go back and check out and see what amazing Yaleys have been doing over the past year. So join us tomorrow night on Facebook, on the Yale Alumni Facebook group. We're going to talk more with Calista and Jeremy and members of their team, and you can experience The Wandering too. Check them out on Instagram at Experience The Wandering, and we'll see you guys hopefully all tomorrow. Thank you guys. Take care.
Yay! Woo!